warm welcome to the fourth day of 2 weeks online FDP on advances in composite materials, manufacturing processes, and optimization techniques. Today, in the first session, we have Dr. Satish Kumar Gopal, Associate Professor, Mechanical Engineering, SSN Institutions. He has done his PhD in IIT Madras in the year 2008. He previously worked in IIT Madras and Velammal College of Engineering, Chennai. His research interests are robotics, AI, ML, automation, and mechatronics. He is also guiding three research scholars towards their PhD thesis. He has published more number of papers in the international journals and conferences. He also received funds from DST and other organizations for doing projects. Now, I would like to invite Professor Dr. Satish Kumar Gopal to deliver his lecture. Please,
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So, thank you for the introduction. So, good morning to one and all present over here. Say, I've been invited to talk about the topic role of robotics in manufacturing, and let us see how this discussion. You can stop me at any time if you have any doubts. Okay, don't hesitate. You don't have to wait till the end of the presentation. Okay, that is a picturesque location of SSN. Probably someone might already visited the place. Okay, so the flow of the presentation will be the future of robotics and manufacturing, which is like Industry 4.0. Probably somebody or you might have attended few other lectures, say in this series itself, and I'll try to connect robotics to Industry 4.0, okay, specific and current reality in our country, automation and robotics, how they are related, excuse me, and industrial robots. So this is where, say, I can relate the manufacturing role of robotics, okay? And what makes a robot? This is like general, the basic discussion that we can have on robotics, okay? The safety and economic analysis and the facts and fiction to finish it off, okay? So starting, this slide will tell you the four categories of...
Sir, excuse me, sir. Sir,
yes, yes.
the screen not at shared, sir. Your screen.
Is it?
Your screen.
Okay. I thought I was already on target. Fine then. So share. So it says I cannot share. Just a moment. I'll just stop sharing. I'll restart my entire screen I'm sharing. Okay. Share. Is my screen visible now?
Yeah, it's rotating, sir. Rotating. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. How about now?
Yeah, now it's okay, sir. You can.
Okay. Probably I'll just give it say.
Yeah, yes. Now okay, sir. Now okay.
Okay. So
press
this is
the hide
where
button, sir. Press the hide button.
hide button. Yep. Okay, done.
Now,
So
sir.
this is the picturesque location of SSN. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So this is the flow. I said like future of robotics and manufacturing with respect to Industry 4.0, current reality, automation and robotics, industrial robots, what makes a robot, safety and economic analysis, facts and fiction. Okay, so Industry 4.0 is the fourth stage of the industrial revolution, which started approximately 200-300 years before. So starting with steam power, and then we moved on to electric power, and then powered by electronics and computers, and now we are at the stage where internet plays role in everyone's survival. Okay, that is where Industry 4.0, say, so where IoT, robotics, big data are going to have a real showtime it is for these domains. Okay, it all started like this. Say it might even have started even before. That's what they say, but at least 1784 could be considered like the way the starting point of industrial revolution as it is, and it is extending further beyond now. So what are all the pillars? They say 9 pillars, 10 pillars. You can have any number of pillars that you want. Okay, what I want to point out is like you have advanced robotics also Okay, autonomous robots or advanced robots are considered to be one of the major pillar for determining the success of Industry 4.0. Okay, so you will have other things like Internet of Things, big data, machine to machine discussion, and say communication, and 3D printing, cloud computing. All these things you will be hearing more and more. Okay, more and more. Of course, your syllabus with which you are studying the subject may not have all these things into place, but 60-70% of this content has to be covered in the next 4 years, 5 years, so that you will have basic knowledge. All the engineers who pass out of engineering should have basic knowledge in all these domains. That is a must. Okay, and say talking about autonomous or advanced robots, like mobile, the robots can be fixed or mobile, moving around. So if it is going to be like moving around, it can be aquatic, inside water, above water, amphibious, on the land, terrestrial, between water and land, airborne. So there can be all kind of robots. So it is decided by the operating environment and the locomotion capability of the robot. Okay, and about say the environment, I can go a little say application based, where it is industrial, service oriented, non-industrial application, where construction, mining, agriculture, even entertainment comes here. Okay, so services, or like say defense. This is where India we lag. We depend entirely on other say countries for our say survival. Okay, educational, home, medical, of course, all these things we have not caught up with the external world. So say industrial, obviously manufacturing, this is where we are going to connect and tell you how we are going to extend robotics further. Okay, inspection, maintenance, and logistics. Okay, all these places robotics will have a play. So logistic is like, suppose if you have to deliver something from here to I'm taking class in my home, in my classroom. I forgot something from my room. Something gets delivered from my room to here to my classroom. So that is like a very simple level logistic. So it can be extended between towns, between cities, between countries. Okay, autonomous flight, flying from one country to the other, carrying the say per specific payload from one GPS location to the next. Okay, autonomously. All those things comes under autonomous robots. You need the hardware of these things for you to implement the software aspect of the Internet 4.0 technology. Okay, these things are very much needed. These and the machines are very much needed. Okay, this particular slide and 4 or 5 more slides, I've taken it from this specific paper. This is very interesting paper. This is a review paper which was done in 2019, very recent paper, reviewing all the technologies for manufacturing. Okay, specific to Industry 4.2. This is a good read. You guys can go through. Automation those days, say even some 5 years before or 10 years before, it was only this much. Okay, excuse me. X-axis was having the product variety, Y-axis was having the production volume. Okay, suppose if you are having one type of car to be produced these many times. Okay, these many cars, 15,000 cars per month or per year. Okay, then it is like fixed automation is preferred. And you had more varieties, pens, let us say 1,000 different types of pens or papers or articles, and you have like very less different types, and the volume is very less, only one type of pen it is. Okay, you have very costly pen and so on. For that you need programmable automation, fixed automation, programmable automation, and if it is somewhere in the middle, it is like flexible automation. So all these domains had applications for robotics open. So that is how it was, the robotics was playing a role. And nowadays, this particular robots which played a role in these domains, industrial robots they are called as, they have almost reached a point where it is saturated. It can be called as a saturation limit it has reached. Okay, so this automation, the one that I presented in the earlier slide, will have a hierarchy. There will be a real-time application where you'll have controls, at PLC level, field level, small machines and components working on its own. And then process level control will be there, plant level control will be there, and finally enterprise level control, ERP they say, right? Say on top, a complete company being run from one point. Okay, so even PLC and SCADA will come and fit at this level. Okay, sometimes an extension of that can fit at ERP level also. SAP and other things, it comes at ERP level. So this is like one after other. If there is some failure here, this and this will be completely disconnected. So instead, if you apply Industry 4.0 technologies, you will have a networked system of hierarchy. There is no hierarchy, in fact. Okay, everything is connected to the other. So this is like cyber physical system based automation, CPS based automation. Cyber, you know, right? Cyber is like the virtual world of internet or through internet. It can be through any other way also. Cyber is like the virtual world. P is the physical world. Okay, so this physical world is converted into data representation and converted into a cyber physical environment. If there is a machine that you have in your environment, for example, if there is a machine that is going to fabricate or work with a robot, okay, all this working of the machine with the robot, everything will be transmitted and stored in the cloud. Okay, and all the information stored there, data stored there, will be the cyber physical system. Okay, the machine might be working here, but equivalent to that, the cyber physical machine will be working in the cloud computing system. Okay, physically here it will be there, virtually that machine will be there in existence. Okay, that is how the technology has progressed. Okay, all the experiments that you wish to do here can be experimented there virtually. So you don't have to run the machine at all. Just by running the data, simulating the data, you will know whether this will work or not. Okay, technology is developing to that stage. Of course, it has not reached the say zenith of say Industry 4.0. We are right now at the starting point of Industry 4.0. Okay, so one more thing is like say IoT, you know, right? Industry what is it? Internet of Things. So the definition of Internet of Things keeps upgrading every 2 to 3 years. Okay, so definition, say for example, what is mass? The definition, it changed after some 200 years. Okay, after Newton and say Einstein, the definition of mass, they say it was relative, but still mass holds its own definition, right? But the definition of Internet of Things, it keeps upgrading every 3rd year. Okay, so that is the kind of change that we should be ready to sustain. Yeah, so this is like a structure of CPS, cyber physical system for manufacturing unit. You can have a different set of units where humans and machines interact, robots and machines interact. Okay, some physical system and humans interact. Okay, all these things, human machine interface, say connection to other system, and there might be some embedded system. Embedded system is like there will be a chip, a programmable chip, which will connect some sensors to some specific actuators. So if there is a camera or a IR sensor, if an object reaches this point, it will push it down if it is not good. If it is good, it will roll the conveyor belt and move it to the next point. So that is like an embedded system. This is also a physical system. Okay, it is not like something out of the box. This is also a physical system, but specific to some intelligence is there. Here, some onboard intelligence is there. These things need not have intelligence. This could be like some press button that you press it, it is going to work. You switch it off, it is going to switch off. So all these things put together is cyber physical system. Okay, I'll just move on. So such a cyber physical system expanded for manufacturing. This is cloud manufacturing model. So inside a cyber physical system, you can have such system imposed onto that. So what happens is there are providers, service providers, there are consumers. Okay, in consumers, we are going to eat or use the product finally. An automobile that is manufactured here, I'm going to use it manually. Okay, service provider, Hyundai, Ford, each might say TVS might produce some components here connected through cloud. Okay, there'll be who will do which component will be dispatched through the model that I've already made and loaded. Cloud manufacturing platform will decide what design tasks are to be done, manufacturing tasks, logistics tasks, everything will be allocated to say through all the cloud and router and all the physical connection communications that happens. So everything is like accumulated in the form of knowledge. Also, I take knowledge from here, knowledge from here, knowledge from here, and this keeps increasing. So, and of course there will be interaction to and forth here and through the cloud and through the say through the other means also. So that is how a cloud manufacturing model operates. Here humans will be sitting and working. Instead of working here, there'll be, of course, some people here also. There'll be highly skilled people here. All the low-level task, repeatable task, all those things will be removed from the human beings. And those people will be upgraded and they'll be placed here. And we'll be doing all these tasks sitting at one place. Okay, that is how the Internet 4.0 is going to, Industry 4.0 is going to change the level playing ground. So what are all the services that you might be working with? So there will be something called internet service provider. Even now we have this, say Hathway, Airtel, all these people, they provide internet service. That is one set of services. Okay, the second set of services where mechanical engineers or the existing industry, hardware industry will be, core industries will be interested is like machine service provider. So you'll be having a 3D printer, you'll be having a CNC machine, milling machine, robots, and so on. Everything you'll be connecting it through a adapter through the internet and allocate your service to the industry, I mean the manufacturing unit. This manufacturing unit is not physically existing on the ground, but it is virtually existing. So your 3D printer, this red dot is allocated to this particular industry or manufacturing unit. Your 3D milling machine, your robot, everything is allocated. This particular combination will be considered as a manufacturing unit on the cloud platform. So this will be cloud manufacturing service provider. So like internet service provider, they are cloud manufacturing service provider. And of course, logistics service provider and cloud computing service provider. So between these two, first I'll talk about this. Say there'll be some design task, of course, AutoCAD, ANSYS and other analysis that will be done at SaaS level, service as a okay, software as a service platform. This level is software you will allocate as a service, and the second level is platform as a service. Here OS, operating real-time runtimes, allocation, all the softwares which connects this to this will be here. This also you can hire. Okay, and finally it is infrastructure as a service. So computing, all the, say, database management system network, say all the hardwares also you can say allocate as a service. So this, again, one more service provider will be there. Okay, and finally logistics. So from one country to the other, physically you have to move. One place to the other, physically you have to move a few components. All the finished goods, it should be distributed to the consumers. For that, one more logistics service provider also will be there. So all these things put together will be cloud manufacturing services that can be looked forward to in the future. So if you are planning to start a company, now I'm going to build a business, okay, proper business related to, say, manufacturing in the future, 5 years from now, after my degree, Abdina, it should be related to any of these domains. If it is good, it is good if you can relate it to any of these domains. Otherwise, will be seen as a like a stone age company, and that is how people will start looking at us. So that is how, say, a typical Internet of Things network will have these many sensors. Okay, pressure sensor, temperature sensor, say a camera, say a gate valve, which will, this is an actuator which can be opened. So there are some routers and gateways. So all these things are replicated at different units. This is like a oil, say, extraction plant. Similarly, it could be any other plant. All these things will be controlled from the control center. So you'll have very strong internet connection among these things for them to exist. Similarly, for a manufacturing company, so you should have industrial communication among the components which are there. So there could be a robot, environmental controller controlling the air conditioning system, or machine vision system controls the motion of objects between the different places and machines. And there is a CNC machine, PLC is there to control all these things. All these things will be communicating to the cloud through the gateway. And there could be edge computing also. Everything need not be done at the cloud. There can be some edge computing. Edge computing is like a pen drive I insert it to my laptop, and whatever can be done like at the cloud computing up to certain extent, I can do it within the pen drive. It is not a pen drive, it has processing power. So such kind of things, devices are called edge computing. So this is like one small unit, a manufacturing unit. Virtually, I mean, in real time, this will be there. So this, again, with relation to computing, cloud computing, it becomes cloud manufacturing unit at the smallest scale. Whatever I showed in the earlier slide is the largest scale. And of course, what are all the research gaps for engineers to fill? Say, mechanical engineers, manufacturing engineers will be talking about FMS to be a little advanced than SIM, computer integrated manufacturing. And even better will be reconfigurable manufacturing system. Automation assembly line was the starting point where we started seeing the intelligence being applied. So much is the research gap here for if you have to reach industry 4.0. So what are all the things that you have to cover? Self configuration, optimization, awareness, decision making, predictive maintenance, real-time response, all these things. Flexibility, of course, flexibility we got it into here and here, so which was not there in SIM. Okay, so such kind of gaps are also presented. This was also taken from the review paper, this particular slide also. Okay, so what are all the domains specific to simulation research? Okay, simulation itself, like we knew CAD software, we simulate something. There are some simulation software, you create a cartoon and make it work. Such kind of simulation for manufacturing applications is going to play a very wide, vast, in-depth role in the future. This VR, virtual reality, AR, augmented reality, MR, and so all those things will have a very prominent role in the future. Okay. For example, ergonomics will have proper simulation tool. There is a wide vacuum here. So many things can be created. Similarly, process design, verification, planning. Yeah, so much can be contributed. Of course, there are good softwares which are available for simulation, but to integrate, they are still developing. Of course, this is a very huge domain for individuals to work on. Say material flow, robotics, of course, it is a very fertile field, product design. All these things will have simulation as one end of it. You might say it is just energy consumption, man. Yes, I need a software because virtually I want to check before I start running the manufacturing unit. I want to virtually check by running this particular plant, what will be the energy consumption, what is the environmental impact, and so on and so forth. So these knowledge into these domains is very much needed, very, very much needed. So for specific to augmented reality, say you need something for training. If there is an AR developed for training, it will be helpful for job specific training, safety and security training. You can expert level coaching. All these three domains, your life will be made easier if you have a augmented reality simulation. And similarly for sales, you can have product display like in the form of virtual twin. Okay, they say digital twin, they say, right? So digital twin is like I have a computer or a Alexa like product. Okay, your mobile, there will be a digital equivalent of that. Every programming aspect, every usage aspect that I interact with my mobile, that my digital twin, my mobile's digital twin will be able to replicate as it is in the form of say virtual motion. So when I connect augmented reality to that, I will have a equivalent mobile, say on the hand. I can have two mobiles, one on my hand and one on my virtual augmented reality tool. Okay, through my, say I can use my mobile or my laptop to create one more mobile virtually. So such kind of things are possible. So this I need not talk now, because the data that you generate is the lifeline for the cloud manufacturing unit or industry 4.0. So data is the lifeline. If you remove data, everything will fall like a 9-pin. You won't have anything standing. Okay, maybe our robots and machines might stand, everything will else will collapse to the ground. So data is the lifeline. So they are going to present their data life cycle in this. So I think I've spoken little more than 25 minutes, so I'll just move on. Okay, I just spoke about the future. This is how it might say appear. So everything will be connected through the internet. Everything will be connected through the internet. So this is the GIF thing that is depicting. So okay, we have talked about manufacturing. I'm going to move a little towards robotics. Okay. Excuse me. Before talking about robotics, how about smart? I've just seen about smart factory, virtual factory, digital factory. Okay, how about smart cities? Okay, if I Google search, I get a image like this and something like this, smart city. Okay, is that all smart city is about? Like smart energy, smart retail, smart health, smart mobility. Okay, internet of things, open data, education is also smart. Everything is smart. My first standard child, LKG from UKG, she started attending classes online. So everything is supposedly smart nowadays. Smart home. Okay, is that all smart city is all about? Is there something missing here? Any guesses?
Sir, connection, communication, and maybe all the data to be shared to cloud, etc. Sir.
Okay. So let us assume, as you said rightly, since I've called it smart, even that communication is there. So between here and here, everything is connected. Let us assume. What else is missing, Kana? Go one step ahead. What you said is right. That is the first thing.
The people.
Precisely. That is what I wanted to ask. So smart cities need smart people. So if you have smart city, you need the base as foundation as smart people. Okay, I call this as smart, the hands with a suit. Okay, suit is smart, right? Indians, when you wear a suit, you become smart. You remove the suit, you become a normal Indian. Okay, so that is how we have been told. How smart are these people? Or I can rephrase the question: how smart as engineers we have allowed them to be? Have you seen this scenario, Kana? Anyone of you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
if you are obvious, yes. So you know what kind of job they do? They know. So that is why they get intoxicated before they enter the manholes. Okay. Think about the kind of filth they are exposed to, the germs, the diseases. Okay. Think about the morale of the family members. My dad is doing this job, how he'll be treated by the society, right? All these things for a paltry sum of money, 200, 300 rupees per day, per entry, and so on. Of course, there is a High Court directive which doesn't allow these people to enter. They say all the technology should be tried. If it fails, then one clause is there. That loophole is like utilized left and right, abused left and right. Okay, so should we as human beings, should we help them? Or I know you guys are not interested in taking up this job. Say, should we not help them as engineers? Should we help them, Kana?
Yes, sir.
Why should we? Why should we?
Sir, that is a basic human instinct which we need to arouse amongst ourselves. Sir.
Okay, so but still I'm selfish. I don't want to help them. I am happy. I'm earning good salary. I have a happy family. Why should I worry? Okay, I have answer for such kind of people also. So a small anecdote. There was a farmland, a farmer and his wife. They are just opening a gift wrap. So inside there is a mouse trap. So they are taking and watching that. Watching them is a mouse from the hole in the wall. So it knows, oh, these guys are going to catch and kill me. So immediately it panics and runs to its friends, chicken, pig, and cow, and asks for help. See, these people are going to catch and kill me, man. Please help me. Those guys say, man, see, this is your problem. You're such a grown-up person. Say, we don't have time. It is like, say, you can manage this time. We'll help you next time. So everybody washes their hands off. So that night, what happens is some sound comes at the mouse trap. This farm lady, thinking that the mouse is caught, she goes near the mouse trap. There is a snake that is caught in the mouse trap. It bites her. She is rushed to the hospital. The doctors say, give her chicken soup. She might recover. So the chicken is cut and made as a soup. And some people, they come to visit her in the hospital. Okay, the cow, the pig is also slaughtered and served as food. And finally, she passes away, and the entire village comes to visit her. The cow is also slaughtered. So finally, who survived? It is the mouse that survived. So this problem might be theirs today. If you don't solve it as engineers, which is our responsibility, if you are not solving it today, so that problem will be ours tomorrow. We will be living with it. So I say apply any technology. I'm talking about robotics. So apply robotics technologies to solve this problem. So technology, some people will say it is good. Some people will say it is bad. Say we are all technologists, so we cannot say be on the other side. But nevertheless, we will say technology is both good and bad. That at least we can say, right? So all these things are say helping me do that. Say we use this almost every day, right? All these things I use, watch and say communication, mobile, say buildings, such huge buildings, say internet, computer, everything I keep using, electric power, bicycle, eyes, say everything I use. So this is like a knife, a technology. I can use it to cut apples or poke it into someone else's eyes. So human decide whether this is good or bad. So what is this, Kana? What is this? Probably it might look too small for you guys. Can anyone by chance realize what is this? Okay, not a problem. I'll come back to it. So which among these things came, three things came first? Stone or fire or wheel?
Is it stone, sir?
Huh. So it is stone, then fire, then wheels, and it is like never-ending spiral of technologies we have been bombarded with. Okay, so think about this girl. Say she is your classmate. She drags herself into your classroom. She walks into the classroom. Okay, so that kind of sophisticated. It's not sophisticated. It's the basic requirement for the child to have the equivalent lifestyle, right? Like a common normal human being. Okay, so this is possible because of technology. So whether it is like one step for a man or a giant leap for mankind, okay, this is like on the moon footstep, our human being footstep on the moon. So technology has played its role. Okay, so even Kalam sir says in a Song of Youth, as a young citizen of India, armed with technology, knowledge and love for my nation, I realize small aim is a crime. So you might be a patriot. I love my nation to death. So all others leave my country, you'll say, but unless you have the knowledge and technology, you're no good for your country. You can as well say be a non-existent person. Okay, person. So you need technology and knowledge. So internet technology, and biotechnology and robotics technology, all these things have huge contribution to GDP, to the number of jobs that people acquire. Okay, similarly, the kind of businesses that they're in, the confidence that biotechnologies by the vaccine. Up to January, we had say proper domination over the world, and somewhere we missed it. There was a slip. Okay, so we know what kind of things can be done with IT and BT. Say you guys are trying to replace the teachers also. Okay, such is the kind of advancement we have. But with robotics technology, you can get into your home You can sit next to me. You can enter me also. So you can play God with robotics. Omnipresent, omnipotent, potential is there. So even Bill Gates says that 2007 is the year robotics industry will take off the way PC industry took off 30 years before. Okay. So, but is that the reality? Not so much. Say this is like happening in our own Anna University. So this is a common scenario. So I'm just showcasing only one particular example, okay, for which we worked, say, developing some system. So initially we created these models, did some analysis and did some experiments with this, and Adams analysis we did, and we came to this particular design, and some more improvisation, we came to this particular design. This is like umbrella model which can open and close and accommodate itself in the changing diameter of the sewage pipeline. Sewage pipeline, it starts from say 30 centimeter and up to even 1.5 meters and beyond. There are places where 2.5 meter diameter pipelines are also there. This is not meant for that. So this is specific to Chennai pipelines, underground sewage pipelines. Okay. So this design we did, and all the analysis that we did, software analysis. Okay. In that, I want to talk about this. So robotics and manufacturing, the role I'm supposed to talk. So that particular robot which plays a role in the manufacturing, how it is designed is like the next 2 or 3 slides I'm going to talk. So physically, I told you how I manufactured. Okay, some software analysis and all I did, some static load analysis I did. So stress and strain and displacement I saw. I increased the thickness of this plate and measured again and measured again. So that is the advantage these softwares give, structural analysis. Okay, having done that, so I moved on to kinematic analysis. The robot is ready. So suppose if I want to move from here to here, this particular wheel. So what is the number of rotation that the motor that I mount here will rotate for me, for this robot end position to reach from here to here. Similarly, here to here, there are 8 wheels on top on all the sides. So for that, I need kinematic analysis. Kinematic analysis of robot is to be done. So for this industrial robot, for it to move from here to here, I need to find instantaneous position. So this will be given as X and Y and Z in space. Okay, and that will be related to the joint position, theta 1, theta 2, theta 3, and this vertical axis also will rotate like this, like this. So theta 4, 4 different rotations. When I combine, I'll get a motion from here to here. So such a complex mathematical model is running in the background. For one robot it is. Okay, for that, I'll be fixing these kind of coordinates onto the end effector, onto the joints. Okay, because joints are the places where the motors will be fixed. The endpoints of the motors will be fixed. So from here to here, what is the transformation? From here to here, what is the transformation? From this coordinate to this coordinate, what is the transformation? I'll find from one coordinate to the next, one coordinate to the next, and so on and so forth. And finally, I'll know from base coordinate, where is the tool center point coordinate. I can move it mathematically. So that is the advantage of kinematics. So it is like within the robots I was talking. The robot is not going to work alone. There will be a work environment where a work table is there, say object is kept. So there is a coordinate. The robot should know here is the object with respect to the table, and this object with respect to the base, and this robot with respect to the world coordinate system. Okay, so this robot, one more robot is there. So it should know that with respect to this room, a corner point, I am here. So that robot is here. I'm not going to hit the other robot. So such kind of complex relationship exists between these robots and the environment. Okay, that has to be resolved for solving one robot's problem. So for example, one more thing is there. For example, say this robot, I can rotate it. Okay, I draw a line here and I can roll it like I'm holding a object in my arm. I'm rolling it, okay, twisting it in my arm. But what happens is when I rotate it upwards, this entire arm rotates upwards. Okay, this is like this, and I can roll it. Okay, this I can roll. But what happens is at the base also, this particular base also was helping me roll it initially in this direction, vertical direction. So this was acting in one direction, this rolling was happening in different direction. But when I keep it in same axis, both the rolling motion is converted into one rolling motion. So the robot loses 1 degree of freedom. So what is there losing 1 degree of freedom? It is just doing the same job, you might say, but mathematically, there will be a bomb that you have dropped into the kinematic equation. The equation might be completely demolished. It will be confused. Your robot might start acting weird. It might go hit other things or hit the bottom or throw things, whatever it is holding. So such is the complexity. These kind of losing or gaining 1 degree of freedom will cause to a robot kinematics, the working of a robot. That is called a singular configuration. So that also you can find out mathematically. So an analysis called Jacobian analysis is there, with which you can predict even before reaching the point. You can predict, if I go there, there will be a singular point waiting for me. Avoid that path, and your kinematics will take care of moving through a different path. So such is the kind of analysis. Kinematic analysis gives that. Say all these things I'll do, all this analysis I'll do. This is like for every robot in the industry, such kind of analysis is done, and that mathematics will be loaded in the controller. Here is the controller, a box which is there, which will have so many electronics component. For each motor you need a driver. Okay, all those things will be fixed there, and power supply has to be converted. If it is electric motor, it comes through this and comes here. If it is hydraulics, it comes through this and comes here. If it is pneumatic, accordingly different motor drivers will be placed here. And you have a teach pendant also to program a robot. Okay, so these kind of devices will be there in the control unit. Okay, for controlling this is like fully digital controller. So these kind of components will be there inside. And for each motor, such kind of components will be there. These things will be stacked inside, one for each motor, and so on and so forth. There might be a number of sensors here that also will be controlled by this. There will be other say beep sound and light and other things might be there. All those things will be controlled here. So that controller, that algorithm, which I said, that kinematics algorithm, will be entered here. Say this will be taking the kinematics algorithm. So suppose if I have a robot which has like 1 wheel, okay, and 2 wheels. Okay, it is balancing in 2 wheels. It can tilt forward and backward. Okay, so without falling, it should move forward and backward like a inverted pendulum. So if it is going to fall this way, I mount a sensor from the vertical. What is the angle? I'll find out. An inclinometer or whatever. So many angle measuring sensors are there. So based on that, I will say move the vehicle, move the wheels forward. So that kind of algorithm will go here. Okay. So if it is going backward, move the wheels backwards. That is controller algorithm. Here, kinematics algorithm will be there. Kinematics is like if there is an arm like this. So how much this side should move and how much this angle I should move. Both the angles I should move to for this robot, for this arm to move from here to here. So that kinematics algorithm will be here. So I'll take feedback and do the error correction and control it. So this is like what goes into a controller. All these things will go into a controller. Okay. So for example, your Microsoft Kinect and say any other sensor, say a Flex Glow here is there. Here is if you move this gloves, there is a IMU that is mounted here, or what is it? Strain gauge might be mounted here. That will give some data. So both these things will combine, talk to the computer or to the microcontroller, and that motion, if you close the fingers, this also will be replicating the closing the fingers action. This is like master slave configuration. If you remove this, if you completely program everything here, so this is like only a robot which will move. Okay, if I remove the computer, I do everything that the computer does using a microcontroller, more efficient microcontroller. So this becomes a autonomous robot. Okay, so that way different configurations, control architecture is possible. For my say that sewage cleaning robot, this was the control architecture. I cannot discuss any further on this. It's 10:45. Okay, good. So we have gained some time now. So these are all the studies that we did and the fabricated components for that robot, that sewage cleaning robot. So the assembled one, and the idea is like, in Chennai, there is some 7,000 kilometer network of sewage pipeline under the ground, under Chennai alone. You can you guess what is 7,000? 2,000 is the distance approximately between Chennai to Delhi. So 7,000 kilometer network of sewage pipelines are there beneath Chennai alone. You can assume for the entire country. And 77,000 plus manholes are there within Chennai. So assume these circles as manholes. Okay, this is Chennai. And manhole to manhole pipelines are connected. What happens is, whenever there can be a clog in the manholes or in the pipelines. Manholes, they know how to take it out easily. Humans, they generally should not enter using the the bucket machine. They just loosen the bucket inside. They grab the filth from inside and throw it out. So that way, the entire manhole, which is like 6 meters deep, 2 meters wide, can be cleared. But if there is a clog that is there in the pipeline, this is like 30-meter pipeline sometimes. Okay, 30-meter. You cannot say the diameter is too small here. So what they do is they use something called jet rodding machine. They'll use pipe, bend the jet rodding pipe and then insert it here. High pressure liquid will be sent inside, and they'll expect this thing to be cleared. In this, if it is not still working, they'll send the humans. They'll somehow then clear it. Okay, so say when they are supposed to enter, some 20 different safety gadgets they are supposed to wear, gloves and mask and so many other things. But reality is like they remove everything, even their shirt they remove and they enter. So there is a problem. So what happens is, you're making this robot which will go inside these pipelines on a regular scale. Okay, when there is a clog here, this will go and clear. So when this is not able to clear, it will communicate to the nearby robot. So this also will come from the other direction, okay, from all the different directions, and try to clear. So such kind of networked intelligent robots, okay, will be placed underneath the ground at 6 meters down. Okay, they'll be there surviving on their own underneath. They'll be powering themselves when they are not at work. Okay, they will be allocated some specific path. So they'll be just going on a maintenance schedule. They'll just go check if there is any clog. They'll immediately, even if they're starting of a clog also, it can immediately sense and clear. And of course, there might be sensors mounted on these places, Internet of Things kind of sensors. So they will also communicate to the robot. See, there is a pressure that is developing here. Come and check. So such kind of thing is what we are aiming at. So we got a funding from DST for some 40 lakhs, and we are working on developing a complete system. So why is the question that we always should answer. That is what education should do. So why robotics? Say robotics, I gave you the slide as an answer. Okay, the first slide which I said. And what is mechatronics? How are they different? Okay, both are intelligent system. What is the difference? Mechatronics and robotics is almost the same. They are interdisciplinary subjects. How are they different? And what is this automation? How is it different? How are these three things different? Okay, so mechatronics, let us say I create a device which will open and close my door. Okay, here is my door. So when I come and stand here in front of it, okay, so some sensor is there. It senses my arrival. It just opens the door. It just closes. Only one arm is there, one small link is there. It just opens, close. So that I need not call it as a robot. Okay. If I make a humanoid robot, okay, And this robot walks and opens the door every time I come, every time I roll. So that is a robot. Or if I take a complete arm, right arm, I'm just making, and I'm fixing it to the wall, and I'm using that to open and close, then it becomes a partially mechatronics and partially robotic project. Okay. Otherwise, everything is one and the same. Even the car these days has some 300 plus sensors, a decent car. Okay. So so much of intelligence is brought into it. ECU, electronic control unit, is the engine control unit. So many control units controls n number of sensors and n number of control units. Some valve it will open, some motor it will start making it work. So rainwater, if it senses, the wiper will be made on. All these things will be like intelligent units inside a car, within a car. So that is like mechatronics again. There it is not a robot. If the entire car is like standing up and dancing, okay, on its own, if the car is like you might have seen some Citroen ads and Transformer like videos, then that might qualify for a robot. As the entire unit, it might qualify for a robot. So where does automation comes in? Of course, here is some automation here. Everywhere some automation is there, but specifically automation is meant for some huge industry where a number of machines and the components and robots and say all the allied units are working together, safety system, everything are working together in a small level also, in a large level also. So here also, whatever knowledge that you've acquired here fits here, automation into automation. Okay. So if you know how to make a sensor, connect it and make it work an actuator through a system, you're programming this to take input from the sensor and make a buzzer, create a sound. So this knowledge is common for all the three. Okay, that is what is called as say an open system. So input is from the sensor, this is your robot or anything, okay, and this is the output. So this, when it goes in circle, I measure using the sensor and give it as feedback, that is closed system. So most robots, mechatronics and automation are closed system. Okay. So all are one and the same, interdisciplinary research. So being mechanical engineer, if I say I wish to learn only the mechanical engineering aspect, I don't want to learn all the electronic and IT. I am scared about programming. So you cannot afford to say these days, because all the computer science engineers and electronics engineers are learning mechanical engineering just to get some hold over this interdisciplinary subject requirement. So if you're not learning their subject, okay, if you're not getting strong, then you're on the losing side. They will take your job also in the future. So it is better we speeden up and become an interdisciplinary engineer. That is okay. So this we have discussed what is common, okay, and what is AI. So this particular intelligent unit, this particular intelligence, that is like, here is the intelligence I'm giving. If this comes, do this, is the intelligence that I've written it here, right? So here, if I bring in a supercomputer or highly advanced some computing chip here, by heavy processing capacity, too much of data, okay, too much of calculation, say logic into this, then this becomes artificial intelligence. So this will be able to decide things on its own. It won't wait for a human to tell what it should do. It will start deciding things on its own. That is AI. And that AI, if I am writing the code, okay, through a computer, okay, through the keyboard, I'm typing some code and using a mouse, I'm typing it. So the program is able to calculate A plus B is equal to C. Okay. This is like a program which I created. This is intelligence. Okay. That is not maybe the basic level of artificial intelligence. But what I'm going to do is I'll give it so many examples, like 3 plus 7 is equal to 9. 3 plus 7 is equal to 10. 1 plus 2 is equal to 3. 700 plus 1000 is equal to say 1700. Like that, I'll give some examples to it. Okay, so many examples I'll give. Data I'll feed it, and some algorithm I've developed based on which it will say next time when I supply what is 7 plus 3, by itself it will tell me 10. I didn't program it to tell me it is 10, but I've just fed it with the data saying, giving all the examples for addition, or say this image has a cat. All the 1,000 images that I'm supplying has a cat. So it will know, like when I supply a new image, it will say there is a cat in this or there is no cat in this on its own. Such kind of algorithms are called as machine learning algorithms. So that is like a major part of machine learning algorithms. So machine learning, it has got so many divisions like deep learning, RL, ML, so many things are there. You guys, whoever is interested, you should start learning. Okay, it's better you start learning. It will be interesting once you know some basic C programming. You can learn Arduino programming also. You can control Pi and other softwares, and you can learn about artificial intelligence also. There are so many courses, free courses available. What is it in NPTEL and so on? You can learn, or on internet also. So you should learn, better to learn. So all these things are example for, say, a valve in the what is it? The heart, your automated water vending machine, say valve here in the heart. All those things are like example for mechatronics. So these cars I told you already. I gave this as an example. So this is just one standard example which I keep giving. These are the components. Okay, mirror opening and closing. There is a motor here. Okay, here, and say window up and down motor is there. There is a button for that. Kick lock is there, locking this door. All those things are there. How I'm connecting this wire? Okay, that is done by some CAN bus controller. Okay, CAN bus protocol. So two protocols are there. This is like a conventional multi-wire protocol. This is CAN bus protocol. All are the same system connected. Okay, same system connected. Just by adopting CAN bus protocol in a particular car, BMW 850 Coupe. So they in 1986 it was, the total wiring distance was reduced by 2 kilometers in each car. So leading to 50 kilometer reduction in each car. So such is the advantage these technology brings in, these kind of technology that brings in. So this is an example for automation. So many robots working within a robot work cell. So there might be somebody coming here and feeding it, or there might be a AGV, automated guided vehicle, which will come and feed this component and collect it from the other side, and so on and so forth. So there might be human interaction, and say, suppose if somebody writes it here like this, how will you able to read? Say, there are some answer sheets which we correct during our say evaluation time, which is here at least somebody can read like PAYE, this is R, somebody can tell, but somebody will write something like this. So whether it is X or Y or R or what it is, we cannot. So there are answer sheets which will have such kind of confusing answers, but AI will tell us. Once you train the AI, artificial intelligence, you keep training them with such kind of papers, thousands and thousands of papers, and whatever is the way you write, it will tell you clearly, give you such kind of black and white answers. This is what you have written. You cannot cheat the AI. Human beings, say, we are supposed to correct for 3 hours, some 25 sheets or 20 sheets. So when I reach somewhere around 18th paper and all, my eyes will be almost half closed. I have to relax and come back for finishing of their 3. But these AIs and robots, they'll be working for years together, no rest. Okay, only the mechanical wear and tear or some maintenance work. So all these things, these people gain advantage. Okay, so all this chess and say clarity and say deciding its own path, self-driving car, all these things are because of and medical is a very stressful field for the doctors. Say even the best doctor can get accuracy of 96 to 97%, but only with say AI and humans put together, they are reaching 100%. AI also stops at somewhere around with the current technology, somewhere around 98 or 99 point some percentage accuracy they have got. Together they are getting 100. Okay, man and AI working together. So what is the time? It's 11. Okay, half an hour more is there. Probably I'll just go through. This is like you might have read it, Laws of Robotics, created by Isaac Asimov. He is considered to be the father of robotics by some part of the researchers. In his collection of short stories, I, Robot, he proposed something called laws of robots. 3 laws he proposed, and a 0th law was added later. It says a robot should not injure humanity. Okay, and similarly, robot should not injure human. Robot should obey human beings. That is the second law. And robot should protect its own existence. So now the condition comes. If the human commands, okay, the robot to hurt another guy, another human, so that is in conflict with this. Okay, I mean, that is in conflict with this. It should not injure a human, but this guy is also saying it should obey the orders given by a human. There will be a conflict. In that case, it says such orders should not be in conflict with higher order law. So if both the conditions apply, higher order law prevails. Okay, if both the conditions apply, there is humanity on one side, there is one human on one side. So whom should I save? So go for humanity. This one prevails. So such is the kind of precedence that they are giving. So all the robots that these days they are created, say even the say drones which are deployed in Afghanistan and Iraq, bombarding all the common people, nobody follows these laws. Okay, because it should not harm human being, it should not harm humanity. See, nobody gives a damn about all these laws. Okay, there should be a time where these things get forcefully implemented. We need a world leader like that, or a leader, a human like that, who will go implement, get things in place. So it's like a UN, United Nations, which is specific to humanity. So technologies don't have a control at all. So every robot, as I said, there will be mechanical component, sensors, electronics, and the brain part also. So equivalent to the motors, you will have actuators in the robot. Equal to the frames and links, you have skeletal structure in the human beings. Equal to sensors, you have suppose if you don't have a skeleton, can you assume your body shape? Kana? What will be the shape of your body? Anyone can respond? Just wanted to hear it from you. And how you guys think about it. If your skeletal system is not there, how will your body be?
Our body won't be stiff.
Stiff. You'll be like a amoeba, lumped mass of the flesh. So if you had seen the movie Blob, B-L-O-B, it was like 1970s released movie. You can see such kind of things. And the movie, it was a very interesting movie. In my childhood, I've seen this. So think about like Aishwarya Rai or any model walking the ramp like this. Like say, if had we been created like this without skeletal structure. So such is the importance of skeletal structure that it offers for the robots also. It gives mechanical advantage. So if I have to lift a weight here, I have to apply so much of torque here multiplied by this distance. Only then I can lift a weight. So all those things, these things provide. Okay. And sensors, how many sensors do we have? Human beings?
Yeah, 5 sensory organs.
5 sensory organs. How about the 6th sense then? People keep saying 6th sense.
Yeah, that is intuition.
Intuition. Okay, putting them all together. And then how about the 7th sense? Even Surya acted in that movie. What is that? Extrasensory perception. Okay, that is for fun, or it might be real also. Some say people who play chess, they will know when somebody approaches them. 99% they would have detected this is the reason why this guy is coming to me. I've experienced this. So probably I can quantify it as an ESP and so on. Okay, forget that. There are thousands and thousands of sensors that are available as an option for a robot. Okay, all the sensors, you have to connect it through the electronics, resistor, capacitor, and diodes and so on, transistors, so on and so forth. Even for running the motors, you need such kind of components. The intelligence, you have to load it in the microcontroller and make it run. So there are microcontroller, microprocessor, supercomputer, and then PLCs, programmable logic controller, and then even mainframes. All these things are equivalent to these things. Okay, microprocessor. In the microprocessor is there in your laptop and microwave oven and so on, washing machine. Microprocessor is there in your a laptop. Microcontroller is there in your microwave oven and say washing machine and so on. Okay, in your mobiles these days, it was microcontroller once. Now microprocessor is also taking its place. So motors, probably I'll skip this part. You know, different type of motors are there. Say electric motors are there. Okay, and the pneumatic kind of actuations are possible. Hydraulic kind of actuations. Long before this was the scenario. Or most of the things was like hydraulic. So advantage with hydraulic is like it will be very compact. If a large load is to be carried by a smaller motor, so between hydraulic and electric motor, hydraulic will be very smaller when compared to electric motor, and pneumatic will be a lot more, probably equivalent to this. So electric, but this will be the smallest for lifting a large load. Such kind of high power to weight ratio is offered by hydraulic. Each will have its own advantage, disadvantage. There will be leaky environment. So they brought both these things together, hydraulic, electro-hydraulic, and these days, you know, piezo, shape memory alloy, and then MEMS actuator, nano actuator, pico actuator, I don't know, like molecular actuator, say, I think then they might say electron level actuator, photon level, subatomic level. They'll keep going. There is no stop. String actuator. Probably technology will say go down that line. But as of now, we are here. Okay, say MEMS is like this will be the size of like 1 meter, or it's a 1 millimeter, or less than 1 millimeter. This diameter. So within 1 millimeter diameter. So such is the complex thing that they are able to print and use it. Okay, here it says 50 micrometer apart, 50 micrometer apart. Each of these things are. So, okay, you know, like where robots are being used in the industry, manufacturing industry, and how they are programmed also. Like programming can be done by, say, holding the robot like this. In the next slide, you might see, you can hold the robot, move it. If there is a spray painting to be done, a painting to be done, you just move it with your own hand. You are an expert. You are a painter, so you know how to do it. That will be automatically recorded. So that is possible. Otherwise, you can even have a teach pendant, something like this, a button, a set of say toggle switches and so on. Everything is there. With this, you keep moving. The robot will keep demonstrating as you move. So you want to move from here to here, that you achieve, and then say, save this program, run it 100 times. It will keep running from here to here, here to here. It will keep running. So this is teach pendant based programming. There are computer softwares which are available. This is like a standard industry robot, ABB, let us say. This ABB robot tool you can download from internet library, and you can make changes here. Make it move from this to this point and make a circle or a spiral, and that program will be saved. And that program you can download directly into the real-time robot, and the robot will now start drawing spiral trajectory. Okay, all those things. These are called as offline programming. Okay, all these things are possible for manufacturing applications. How about more than 2 robots? How about other machines that are working together in the industry? All those things are possible in offline programming and work cell simulations. Tools are there. So many very good tools are there. All these things can be put together and made to work in tandem. Okay, so in work cells, there will be proper sensors. For humans, if they enter, it will be immediately sensed. The robot will be switched off. So there will be electrical fence like this. You can see here, fencing is there. Here also fencing is there. Say neither the robot should cross this line or human should cross this line when the robot is in operation. Such kind of advanced training is there. Even for the individual units, AGV. Okay, AGV also has so many sensory part on that. Okay, front warning zone, rear warning zone. And there is a tower on top. Okay, watching tower, watch tower, audible signal is there, flash signal is there. Say physical protective bar is also there. Okay, bumper like thing is there, and all those things are coordinated. Okay, all those things are coordinated on its own. So there are even tools for guiding the path for the AGV within a huge industry. Okay, laser guidance layout. All these things are the trend. So moving on with what is it? Cost analysis. So cost analysis for any industry, it is going to be the same. If you're going to start a business, you need to do cost analysis. It is the same thing that you do here. Say, here is the time I'm starting the company. So 2 years before I would have initiated the process, I would have started investing, so many things, so many different kind of investments. And for the first year, I'm going to operate the project. And if you see the business revenue, so initially I'm here, okay, and I'm starting to make positive revenue, net annual cash flow. So here, this dotted line represents the what is it, the profit that I'm going to make. Okay, so such kind of analysis. From this, what I can find is, so when you start the company, after 3 years, all the investment that you have invested so far can be taken back. From this point onwards, it will be only profit alone. So that is payback time. So it is the same analysis that goes for any company. Okay, all these constraints you would have utilized to decide. So this is for AGV. This you guys can go. And some of you might argue that, say, if I'm taking all the jobs from human beings, so won't we be jobless? Won't we be increasing the unemployment? So this is a real-time data acquired from US. So you can see like industry robots, the blue line, it is like how the job is what is it? There is a recession here. So industry robot shipments, it keeps increasing, but the job is also correspondingly increasing. Okay, so everywhere it keeps increasing. More the jobs, more the robots, more the job. Okay, that is how it is. And similarly, here also it says human robot collaboration is 85% more productive than humans alone or robots alone. Say, if you go to Ford in industry, in Hyundai or any other automobile industry in Chennai or anywhere in our country, one side humans will be working on the what is it, that assembly line. On some other place, robots will be working. Both will be inefficient when compared to humans and robots working together. That's what they say, 85% more productive. So that this thing is called as collaborative automation. They are also, those robots are called as cobots. Cobots are very little intelligent robots rather than the industry robots, which are more intelligence, where humans can work in close proximity to the robots. They can work in very close proximity. Such intelligence they have already built into those robots. So these robots these are all like industry humanoid kind of robots. Each has got its own role. Okay, these things I'm not going to talk. Okay, so much are to be. These are all the different what different types of humanoids. Okay, probably I'll take the next 15 minutes. I have 15 more minutes to move on to the next slide. Okay, next PPT. Okay, this is specific. This is my own agenda. I don't know whether Thanikachalam sir will be happy about it or not. But say this is going to be beneficial for the students or for the people who are for you. Don't worry. Okay, so like some of the project ideas and how you can lead it to patenting. I'm going to rush through because so much is to be conveyed. So what we do is like I'll just show 1 or 2 videos. This is like can you see the video now? Can you see the video?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So this is like done. It didn't show on the. Something happened and it went off, I think. So I'll go back and try running. Play with VLC. Oh. probably by now got an idea what I was trying to no. So this is like
Sir, video not playing. Video is
AI for detecting like face.
Sir, video is not playing.
For me, it is playing. Okay, probably I'll stop presenting here, and then I'll create a entire screen once again. I'll share. Okay. How about now?
Now it's
How
okay.
about now?
Now it's good. Now it's good.
Okay,
it's-
I'll just play the other. Yes, sir. I'll just play the autonomous robot thing. Okay, this is like so the wheel. These kind of wheels didn't work for them. It took long time for them to understand. So they made such kind of wheel like a tube over all the mechanical design, and they just used a mobile to capture the video. And very rudimentary design it is. It is not like hi-fi design, but something worth. They did it. And what else I wanted to show? Quite a few things. Probably I'll come back and show. So I'll just go back to my PPT. What else? Beach and mosquito. Mosquito. I'll probably tell you what is mosquito eradication robot. So is my screen visible again? PPT.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll just give a glimpse about these things. Mosquito is like this robot. It'll go around the house, stay at each corner for 1 or 2 minutes. It'll create, observe for the sound generated by female mosquitoes. There is a difference between the frequencies for male and female, and it'll suck the mosquito in, and it won't kill it inside. Okay, the mosquitoes will be living there inside the box. It will be cooled environment, Peltier effect, because of which it is cooled, and they'll survive. They'll live their life and die inside. It won't come out. Okay, we don't kill it. Karma we want to work on, like the SWAT and other things. You kill them, right? Once each hit will kill 1 or 2 mosquitoes, right? That is not done here. It dies on its own. So here you can differentiate the schedule, like what kind of schedule you want to make it go around the house and so on. Okay, how to attract the mosquitoes? CO2 is the means. Okay, CO2 in a what is that, eco-friendly manner it is created, and it comes, mosquito comes and you captures it. Scavenger robot is what I have already shown. Tree for climbing the tree and so on. Self-balancing, I didn't show the video. Okay, these things are all for you know how to work it, right? So much I have time, only that much. So how do I like say there are a number of problems in the society. Say people falling into the what is it, deep bore wells. Okay, they cannot be retrieved. Any attempt that they do, these mud will slip and fall inside. Just think about yourself. You stuck inside 70 feet down, nobody to help you. Okay, are we not supposed to help these kids? So these kind of filth which is floating around in our country, on the beach, on the road, everywhere. So why not some small technology, some 1,000 rupees to 10,000 rupees small robot, some 10 people put 1,000 rupees, make a robot, let it keep cleaning on the road, on the beach, everywhere. Okay, all these things. Say these people, they need our help. Okay, not from like I am a better person, I'm trying to help them, not like that. Okay, we are supposed to do, as somebody said, we are humans, we are supposed to do. They are better than us in so many ways. This like this person, he is giving a lecture world over. Okay, if he is earning more than anyone of us can earn. Such kind of people are there, but still, are we not supposed to create technology? I've seen one a madam at IIT Madras. So there was a road, she was like going front and back. She was not getting down to go to her department on a wheelchair. So you would have read about her in your CBSE books also, that ma'am, she chemistry department, I suppose. I was asking her what happened, ma'am. Say they have increased the thickness of the road. I'm not able to get down from with the wheelchair. The thickness was just 1 inch. 1 inch, I've never even thought about bothering. Okay, she was not able to get down. She was fearing that she might topple 1 inch. So such is the kind of say the difficulty they all face. We are supposed to think, interact with them, and find solutions for these kind of people. Say these answer sheets, how many sheets will be unanswered? You'll just throw it, recycle it gets recycled. I can suppose if I make a small machine which will tear out all the unused papers, so that is going to be useful, right? Some small technology. So our students, they did it. Say if you're growing older, my father didn't have anyone to play with. He was always playing with the computer. So if I have a robot, it can be at least giving a feeling like some physical entity I'm playing with. Or if there is some other human being, he's controlling using Internet of Things. So he can play with his friends, okay, geriatric people. Yes, this is a much needed technology. This SCARA arm, we made the construction using the pipes which are available for say electric pipelines in the houses, okay, and Arduino. So anyone can do on your own. So this is like some of the projects my students, they are doing. See, of course, even in the current COVID condition, people are complaining about hospitals' toilets. Who will clean this, Kana? The doctors will come and clean this? Or our chief ministers should come and clean this? The sanitation worker, if he is already ill, he is affected by COVID, is he not a human being? Create some technology, make some robot which will clean this. What is so difficult in that? Say, let this be stuck to the wall on the left side and right side. Okay, this keeps cleaning. This cannot take more than say 1,000 rupees or 2,000 rupees. All that is missing is we engineers are not contributing to the society, immediate society. That is the truth. So we have to accept that we are not doing it. So very recently, so wheelchair users, if they are not able to use their hands, if they are not able to say, they'll use, what is this? Joystick. There'll be a joystick kept here. They'll use their hands forward, backward. And there are people who cannot use the joystick also. But their wheelchair will have a joystick. What to do? Now we have developed a faculty in my college. She has developed the voice to motion control, so voice to signal she has converted, and we created a mechanical component, signal to motion for the joystick. Okay, so if he says go forward, that joystick will be pushed forward, backward, and all those things we did. So such kind of things, you can definitely do. This is like a fish, like SMA wired actuated finger for moving over the object and grasping it. Like inside a pipeline, if there is an object, I have to bend it like this and take. For this, such kind of devices are needed. Okay, these are all the things that we worked on. It is 23 now. Okay, different robots. This is like we did it for a competition at Anna University. So 3 competitions. One is like running race, and obstacles will be there. You have to maneuver and do the running race, finish the second task. Third is like the same robot should pull weight. Okay, the competitors, they came with toy cars, toy car motors. Their robots had toy car motors. There'll be high speed motors. So first race they won. Second race they had to slow down because of the maneuvers. We were equal. When it came to lifting the weight, their speed was so much, so torque was too low. They could lift only 200 grams, 400 grams, 800 grams. Our robot could lift 5 kgs of weight. Okay, so much is the mechanical advantage that you can get by working on the design aspects. Okay, this was done for IIT Mumbai competition, and this is like in our free time, we used to spend 1 hour per day after our PhD work and all. We used to develop this robot for this will go on the floor, find a fire, and douse it with water. So this had a piezoelectric actuator based 2 rupee coin sized motor, a pump, micro pump. So it will pump water onto it, and it had all the sensors, say proximity sensor, say IR and UV ultrasound sensor, then ultraviolet sensor for sensing heat, and then flame detector for sensing the flame of the candle and so on. This was my PhD work, Stewart platform, and this was like developed by students, a Stewart platform with pneumatic actuator. And this is like a bomb detection, and this is like internally inside the indoor application for quadcopter. There will be a marker, it will just run around and read what are all the markers placed. It will read and collect the data and come back for stacking or inventory application. Okay. Now I've come to the interesting part. For me, it is interesting. Let me say you're hurt. Okay, your leg is hurt. Your leg is in a cast, or your arm is in a cast. You're supposed to go through a crowded region. You're entering a lift. People are crowded. So how do you tell people, please don't bang into me? If you don't tell, they're going to walk on your leg. They might smash your toe. How are you going to communicate? Any guesses, Kana? I'm asking you. Anyone? What is the solution for that? Keep shouting, I am hurt, please don't hit me, or say bump into me. Is there any other way? Somebody should respond. There will be thousands of ways, 1,000 minds, 100, at least 32 minds are listening, I know. 32 ideas should be there. At least one I want to hear. Unless you say I'm not going to move forward. Any one idea?
Maybe a sensor or something, sir. Just a vague idea I got as you asked.
Okay. Second one, who else said?
Just a shirt or t-shirt, a mark with that I am injured. Just injured. I am injured.
Okay.
Injured.
Okay. Good.
Injured person.
Injured person. Some mark.
Yeah, elbowed. Like just like our car elbowed we are using it. Just like injured person.
Sir, it is not, your voice is not audible.
How about now?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So how about siren? How do you know the presence of an ambulance? It is like because of the siren and the lighting, right? So that we minimized it, a miniaturized version, put a Arduino Nano buzzer and everything, and on the backside CMOS battery have loaded for so many other applications, not just for this. There were specific applications that we have loaded, the intelligence that we have loaded it on with, and say a specific tune. If A.R. Rahman can make a tune for Airtel, why not for all the people who needs help? A specific tune. Once that tune is heard, everybody will know that some person in the vicinity needs my attention, not my help. They'll be at least alert. So this we have gone to go for patent. Okay, we have filed it for a patent. Such a silly, simple device, I went for patenting. Okay, this is the mosquito eradication robot. This we have filed for patent. Okay, and this is like a smart dustbin at the ground level. This will be having intelligence. Corporation is there. Okay, everywhere they send sanitation worker, they clean it. But if the dustbins also have intelligence at the ground level, you can do wonders. So this is like at the ground level. This is like the first patent that I filed for crossing the road. So busy cross section, say accidents, and the vehicles have to stop and go. Instead, if the people are like brought down to this level and they are transferred to the other side and they are sent to the other side in some 5 to 10 seconds or 20 seconds time. Yes, that is what this patent was all about. Okay, why should I patent? Say one of this guy, my friend, this is a common scenario in Alappe, Kerala. So they'll keep walking even if it rains. They keep walking and feed the coir, so their legs and hand will be hurt. So he made a machine which will, like, you sit wherever you want, inside the home, outside, everywhere. You feed the coir, the rope will be generated. He said, this everybody should get it free. I don't want to file a patent. But in 2 days, he realized, what if somebody else files a patent? So nobody can get it free. That guy who files a patent, he determines why it should, say what the price should be. Okay, so he immediately went and filed a patent for that. In IIT Madras, it was coir rat making machine. And he also made an oil expeller. People making this mixies and that kind of companies, they were ready to pay 50 lakhs and odd for getting that idea. There are some things which are coming now in the market, but not up to the efficiency that he is showing for all the kind of seats that he is able to do. Even now, we are paying money for the bulb, that 100 watt, 60 watt bulb. The royalty, part of it goes to the company owned by Edison, they say. And these days, patents, publishing, and projects are the 3 P's that you should be really worried about on your resume. Okay, in order for you to build your resume, do some projects, apply your knowledge, get it published, or at least patenting. So once you have a patent, probably you have say you can have your company also installed, right? You can incorporate a company and start building a company also. So even IITs, NIRF, they have very less number of patents. Say probably 100 and less. I'm not proud about it. I'm not talking feeling bad about it also, but we are supposed to catch up. Say China, they file 15 lakh patents. Filing is 15 lakh. Okay, these people are around 6 lakh. India is like around 50,000 we file. Of that, granted patents are 4 lakh for China. This is 3 lakh, and India is around 13,000 granted. So there is a huge area where we have to really the number of patents filed by individual is like 2,000 plus. Okay, per individual. It was Edison, some 1,000 plus till this guy took over. Okay, that is called as intellectual property rights. So if you want to file an intellectual property, file a patent, so you can do it like in 2 ways: provisional patent, consolidated patent. Provisional patent, say you download the Form 1 and Form 2 from internet, from this website. So you just have an idea. Today you got an idea. You are afraid that tomorrow someone else, if they get an idea, they might file it. So instead, you just put a rough sketch, describe it with a few words, file it. Form 1 and Form 2 on internet, you can file, paying some 1,700 and odd. Your idea is registered, and you will get 12 months for testing that, making the prototype, and filing the consolidated patent. 12 months advantage you'll get. Today you register, the idea is yours, but you have not made anything practically. You get 12 months to make it practically and file the complete specification. Okay, if you have already developed something, directly go for consolidated patent. It's the same forms, okay? And immediately you will get the registration number that you can add it to your resume. So the charges are like 1,600 for, if you're going to the counter, it is 1,700. Online, it is 1,600. You can go to the office also and file. And other things are like ordinary examination, 4,400, and publication, some fee is there. A publication is like, it will be published on the website, IPR website. Everybody can go through and read it. Okay. And if you want to fast track it, then you have to pay this much fee. Otherwise, it is like somewhere around less than 10,000. You can file a patent. Some if 4 or 5 people join together, you can spend only 2,000 per patent. And if your college is doing, your college also can do, your institute can do. That will be like heavy. College might pay some 70 to 1 lakh per patent. But the benefits will be like, you don't have to file a patent. Everything will be taken care by the attorney. Every drafting, even examination, sometimes they take care. The college will be like partially holding the ownership with you, say 50-50 and so on. If there is any royalty coming out of it, it will be 50-50 or something like that. That people will decide. So I just wanted to convey this. Okay, you can create a hobby club also wherever you are. Say these days you are not going to college at all. You are stuck to your home. So use the things that are available at your home. Make your own garage or a workshop at home and share it with your camera. and so that others can work and you can share their work, their tools which are available in their homes and so on. Make the most. Okay, technology will help us fight any kind of war, even the COVID war. Okay, so biologically they are fighting it. We can also fight with our own say towards education. Also we can build use the technology for fighting our own war. So these things are not related to you. Okay, that was, sir, I think time is up. Is it all right? Shall I complete it now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can
Okay. Finish it off, right? I'm not going through these two slides. These are all the skills that are required. See, there are competitions run by government, not just this. Toykathon is like specific to toys, creating toys, intelligent toys. If you can apply the knowledge that you learned with robotics to make such kind of toys, and include your culture. Okay, these days gun is a culture, right? All the children play with guns, but is it our culture, Indian culture? No, right? Let them play with gun also, but there are many other things that you can send it down the line to the children. So those things we have to create. All the toys that are there in the market is done by China or someone else. Very few from India. You can by the look itself, you can know, okay, this is from India, you will say. So that is not fun at all. Say we should feel bad. Engineers are supposed to play our role. Engineers, we are playing the role of cribbing people. We cry, roads are not good. We try, government is not good. This facility is not there. We say, Mark, my faculty is not awarding. He is not teaching good. The infrastructure is not there, not good in the college. Forget all those things. To overcome that is engineering. Okay, problem will be there. Without problem, there is no country which has grown as into a developed country. With all those problems, how did they learn their knowledge and apply that then and there? Today, I learned about Varignon's theorem. How did I apply for my society or a practical application? So unless you connect that, forget growth for India. Okay. So with that, I'll complete today's talk. Thank you for patiently listening. If you have any questions, I can answer.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah,
Kanal.
thanks for the very nice presentation, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we would like to connect to you for any clarification in the future, sir.
Sure,
I'm
sure,
Sandeep
sure.
Kumar from RV College of Engineering, Bangalore.
Oh, okay, okay. Nice meeting you. Yeah,
Thank
you can always mail me, please.
And the only thing is that initially you showed the reference of an article. Can you just give the details of that, sir? The
Sure,
content
sure,
is very nice.
sure. I can
Maybe
share
you can
this
go to the
PPT.
website or I can type it in the chat box, whatever is convenient.
Yes, yes, I'll do that.
Thank you very much, sir.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you. Probably I'll copy paste that.
Satish sir,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
nice presentation, sir. Super.
Sir, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
உங்க ஸ்டாண்டர்டுக்கு வர முடியுமான்னு எனக்கு தெரியல, பட்
Super presentation. The examples are very good. Super. Very
thank
nice.
you. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your kindness. I'll stop presenting and I'll probably give this chat. Yeah. So I'm typing this article here. It is typed here. Okay. And my Satish Kumar G at ssn.edu.in. Satish Kumar G at ssn.edu.in. So thank you for all the people who have typed it on the chat window. Thank you. Yes, sir. If there are no questions, we are done. Thank you for listening to the presentation, and thank you, sir, Thanikachalam sir, and the management and all the organizers of this event for giving me this opportunity. So hope you all will have a great time ahead. Okay, thank you. Take care.
Sir, I have one question. Yesterday I watched Terminator film series.
Oh, okay.
Is it real, sir? That is Arnold Schwarzenegger or Skynet? What way it is different from the robotics?
Skynet, say the internet industry 4.0, one of the is going to be one of the building block of Skynet, if there is something that is going to be in the future. So this will be a major contribution for allowing such kind of Skynet technology to take over all the machines. So that is the role we human beings are playing by, say, creating advent into this technology. So that we have to understand. We are creating a bomb which will blast in our own mind, in our own brain. So we are demolishing ourselves by creating all these technologies. Skynet might be definitely possible in the future. Definitely, say probably 100 years, 1,000 years, or maybe say at the rate of exponential rate at which technology grows, probably maybe 20 years, 50 years also, who knows. But Skynet is possible with all the technology, the way things are possible. Because if you go back, say, 2.5 million years before, the first common ancestor between a human and an ape was there. 2.5 million years before. Human was born to an ape. So the same ape gave birth to another ape also. So from there to here, we have survived. We have eliminated 6 different species of humans, human equivalents, Neanderthals, Florences, and we killed all those people, all the 5 different human species, and Homo sapiens are surviving. We killed them. We eliminated them from the face of the earth. We killed so many other animals, insects, plant kingdom. Yeah, of course, that is all right. But killing human-like species is like it's like it shows our potential, both in the positive direction, negative direction. So how did we survive? Our cognitive technology, cognitive revolution, like industrial revolution, cognitive revolution happened 40,000 years before. Cognitive revolution is like I can talk, people can understand. Say, talking is different. Talking lies, talking fiction, that was possible only for humankind. And because of which we survived. We have survived so far. Talking fiction. Fiction, example for fiction, country, a nation is a fiction. There is no boundary between India and Pakistan. A nation is a fiction. Right? Marriage is a fiction. There is nothing that binds me to my spouse. It doesn't bind her to me. But we understand. We say, okay, we believe in each other. It is a fiction on which everything stands. So that cognitive revolution is like the industrial revolution that is happening now. So industrial revolution happened, and now digital revolution is happening. Digital revolution will be followed by artificial intelligence revolution. And intelligence revolution, I think there, say, the Skynet and other things will be coming into picture. So in that, if you have seen, Arnold will be having while he's killing the enemies, he'll calculate on his screen, no humans were destroyed, only enemies were killed. All those things will be displayed on his screen, on his eye, on the movie screen, it will be displayed. That is VR, virtual reality. Virtual reality is like I can see things as it is. I can see the wall and project something artificially onto it. So the time or number of people killed or number of, say, cats in the image, all those things can be displayed. That is virtual reality. What is it? AR, augmented reality. Oh, that is artificial augmented reality, AR. So virtual reality is like completely different thing I'll see. If I put that thing on, I'll be in a different world. I'll be sitting in my car. Such kind of things will be running. So those things are like already in place. It was on movie then. Some 20 years before it was on movie. Now it is real time. So you should really do that virtual experience. I tried, say, suddenly that was the first experience for me. Whatever was on the ground, it vanished. It was dark space. I was like falling down. The immediate sensation that comes to me is like, what the hell? I'm going to fall down like forever. And then Earth came suddenly. It held me. I was like balancing. So such kind of immersive experience is like it is transforming the world already. And now Microsoft's HoloLens, that is like the turning point. They say it is mixed reality, MR. They say it gives advantage of both VR and AR. So these are all like coming into real life now. Skynet is like partially we are supporting with Industry 4.0. So those machines, the highest intelligence, which is controlling the Skynet, can use this IO4 logic and control all the machines. If it is established in the next 5 years down now, at least 50% of the companies in the world will have. So that in the future can easily control now, which is happening now. So that is true. It is going to happen, sir. I don't know. I gave a long explanation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sir, good morning, sir.
Yes, ma. Yes,
I
yes,
really
please.
appreciate your wonderful presentation.
Thank you, sir. Thank
Actually,
you.
I'm doing research on the natural fiber composite. Is there
Oh,
any
great.
part can be applied in the composite application to be done for robotics, sir?
Yes, sir. See, for example, that a robot which you are making for the pipeline, it is going to go inside the dirty water. Okay, it will be always in water, partially submerged in water. Say all kind of things will be floating around, even stones. It will be rubbing on that, and say if it is metal, say you know the weight and other things. If it is fiber, composite fiber, and so on, definitely the payload of the for each motor will come down. So there definitely immediately I can relate it to it. Any other application where say if there is a quadcopter that is supposed to fly carrying a load of some 2 kilograms and beyond, so the quadcopter will cost some 2 lakhs, 1 lakh to 2 lakh cost they'll charge to fabricate such kind of quadcopter. So there the materials, whatever, if they are using aluminum, you change it to our say fiber, composite fiber. So that might offer some flexibility also, which other things cannot offer. Suppose if there is a small gap in the wall, in that I want the quadcopter to reconfigure and then go, which metal might find it difficult. Your fibers might be easily doing it, bending, twisting, and all those things. So definitely robotics in the future will always grow with materials. So material, you have been ruling for the World War II and that domain. So you will be still ruling definitely in the future also. There is no stop to material application. Welcome, sir. Welcome, sir.
Sir, today you have given wonderful lecture, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Your body language is very nice, sir. Very happy to see you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. All with your blessings, sir. Thank you.
The wisdom be speech and robotics. Sir.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot.
Any questions, participants? Shall we conclude? Any questions? Do you have?
So afternoon session, what time, sir? 2 o'clock, 1:40.
1:40. 1:40. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, Salish Kumar, sir. Thank you so
yes,
much.
Sir. Just before I close, say Dr. Thanikachalam, sir, he's a man of wisdom. A snake knows snakes, like Pambin kal Pambarium. So like that. So he might be very calm. He might be very quiet doing his job, but he is a man of wisdom. You guys should be associated with him to say acquire a few good things from him. He has so much to deliver. Okay, all the best, sir. Thank you for this opportunity. Take care. Good luck to you all. Take care.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay.
Bye. 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 Bye.
Thank you, participants. The feedback link is posted